To who it may concern, I'ma make y'all love me, I'ma make y'all remember my name. All over the world, future looking lovely, focused on my grind and taking over the game.
I love the sound of the water. That's awesome.
I know, right?
God, you don't hear that here much. So do you mostly do like East Valley mics, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I gotta take it slow. So I was in a band right before I started comedy.
Oh, shit.
So I tried comedy back in 2019.
Okay.
So when I started, shortly thereafter, me and my ex-wife at the time, at the time we went through a separation, and then I was doing comedy for about 5 months, and then she made necessary changes that I saw, okay, we can work on this, and she was like, well, you got to stop doing comedy, just because I was talking to, bartenders and waitresses, so then it became this whole thing where it's like, hey, and I was like, yeah, I'm willing to work on it. We had kids, so, I'm like, I'm taking this serious. And then, we gave it another shot, but couldn't get past, all that, and some of us didn't want to do the work.
Yeah.
And I'm now divorced, and I jumped into a band, which was super fun, and I went go. Like, let's travel here, I don't care what it is, let's go. And so I burnt myself out, put myself in a financial hole in that sense, and then it wasn't rewarding anymore. And I quit, and then I was like, man, I still need a creative outlet, and I was like, well, man, comedy's still calling to me. And so I was like, let's jump back in, and now I'm all in. I've done improv. I'm actually reaching out to game show battle rooms.
I've heard. Yeah, there are a bunch of comics that do that. I thought I've seriously considered doing it. That is a beautiful bird right there. I will get distracted by birds. I love birds. I don't know what kind of bird it is.
We're outside, Dana. We talked about this. I was like, there's a fountain, there's traffic, there's a family back here with little. I'm just waiting for the kids to run up on us.
I hope they do.
Yeah, me too.
There's what were you were saying? I forgot what I was saying.
Game show battle.
Oh yeah, that I like. I mean, I do improv obviously and stand up, but I think, as fun as that job sounds, I would have a hard time like being in control of things and running things, and I think I don't have like the brain for that, but so I think it's really cool when people can do that, because I know I would like mess up and forget what was happening as it was happening, but freaking do it. It sounds amazing.
It sounds really fun, and I think that would kind of groom some hosting capabilities as well, and all that. But we don't really have intros here, as you notice. We just rolled right into it.
Yeah, hell yeah.
But today I'm joined by Arizona comic Dana Whissen.
Hell yeah.
Hey, we nailed it. Hit the bell.
Oh, yeah. Ding, ding. Yeah, thank you you got my name right. Eric Sparks did. Devin did. A lot of people have been getting my name right lately. It's like I don't know what I'm supposed to live for now that
that's
I'm
a good
not
sign,
people.
Yeah. And I told myself too. I was like, ask her before we're on the mic. And we forget.
Yeah, no, it's cool. But I mean, I'm glad your brain allowed you to say it correctly.
Cheers.
Cheers. Yeah, to Red Eyes.
Yeah, to Red Eyes and Coffee Rush. Thank you for allowing us to record this here.
Oh yeah.
Dude. Let me climb through those crevices of that brain of yours and just kind of figure out.
Ooh, okay, hold on. There might be some marshmallow fluff in there. Let me get it out.
Yeah. Toss all that. Save it, though. I want to roast. I want to get some Hershey's candy bars and make some s'mores out of your brain matter.
I don't share. I don't usually share food or brain matter, but I guess, I suppose I could do it because it's your podcast.
It's a first time for everything.
Yeah.
I bring firsts out of people.
Like what else?
Well, now you're going to put me on the spot. I don't know. It just felt like something cool to say.
You bring first out of people, like first. Okay, I haven't done improv yet today. First birth? No, that's not a good.
Yes, and.
Okay, you bring out the first crying in public on a podcast?
Ooh.
Not me.
I might cry.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm definitely more emotional these days.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you cry, I mean, I won't judge you. I might not know how to act, or I might try to do something stupid, but I'll help you through it.
That's one thing that as a man.
Yeah.
When that's happening, we try to be fixers. And sometimes you don't need to fix. You just kind of need to just be
there.
Be present.
Yeah.
I remember when my mom she broke her leg recently.
Ooh.
And I was at the hospital. And I'm just like feeling totally helpless.
Yeah.
Like, what's the point of me being here? I can't do anything.
Yeah.
But we forget just your presence alone is enough.
That support.
And the fact that, you're there and you care. So...
Yeah,
you find yourself in those situations where you're like, I don't know, what do I provide them with the silver lining? And I've noticed that that's probably not the case to go with anymore. Like, allow the moment to feel it to its entirety, and then you can slowly start climbing out of it. But I think you do need to feel it, right?
Yeah, I think so. Feel it, and it is just nice to know, like, someone is acknowledging the fact that you're emotional or having some kind of issue at the moment, and they're not trying to hand you that box of Kleenex. Like, I don't know if you've ever been in group therapy, but like in group therapy...
I feel like I have.
Okay, I mean, you're a comic, so even if you haven't been in the actual setting, you kind of have been? Yeah. But there's always someone who, in group therapy and psych wards and stuff, you're in like you're all sharing your painful experiences and stuff, and people start crying, and there's always now this is just my issue because I get annoyed by everything. There's always someone in that group who, as soon as someone starts crying, they're like, oh, box Kleenex. I'm like, just sit.
Because that is like a moment where it's like the bird. It kind of distracts you.
Yeah.
Instead of like, allow me to get messy.
Yeah.
Allow the mess to happen and then worry about cleaning it up.
Yeah. Oh man, that could be said for so many things.
It
Damn.
is.
Like comedy, allow the mess to happen the first however many years. Bomb, do terrible, and then clean it up.
Yeah, ride the wave. Yeah. It's literally like, it's like a detonation, right? You're bombing. That's them detonating those bombs in like South Asia, the Pacific.
Oh, yeah.
And then the wave comes, and all you can do is just ride that wave.
Ooh, I mean, I'll try to ride that wave, but I'm not much of a swimmer. I would probably just swallow the wave and dehydrate myself.
Do you go to the deep end of a pool?
I mean, no.
No.
Oh, I guess I mean, hold on a second.
Not figuratively.
Oh, okay, like literally. I guess I haven't been in a pool in years, so I guess I would assume my pool behaviors are the same they were years ago, where I'll go in the deep end, but I'd rather not spend a lot of time down there. But yeah.
I was always scared.
Yeah?
Of, like the open water and even though I could swim, it took me forever, like ridiculously amount of time, like maybe like 13 years old before I could like really feel comfortable out there in the deep end. I don't know what that was all about.
Well, I mean, when you could swim,
I could swim. It just was the fact that it was like, it's like almost like swimming like out in a lake or the open ocean, right? But it's like there's that fear that like what's below me, but there's nothing that like is gonna hurt you because it's a fucking pool.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I could give you 200 things that could hurt you in a pool.
Okay.
Thinking about the Twister, the movie Twister, when you're underwater and you get too excited and you stay underwater too long, getting your inner guts sucked out by the thing on the bottom of the pool, that little vacuum thing.
Well, that means I'd have to knowingly put my asshole on the vacuum, though.
What if you unknowingly do it?
I'm pretty aware of what's close to my asshole.
Okay, so speak for yourself. I'm not. I don't know.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I know. I know.
What got you into comedy the first time? Like, what brought you out to like, I'm gonna go maybe hit an open mic? Was the open mic like the first thing you ever did in comedy?
No, I did. So I started doing improv for years. I just did improv at the Torch Theater in Central Phoenix, which the Torch isn't there anymore, but the people who run it are. So I did long form improv for years, which is...
What's long form versus...
Short form?
Yeah.
So long form is... So you've done like
I've gone to the Bridge, and I've just done the Comedy Jam.
Oh yeah, I love those jams. Okay. Yeah. Improv. Clean improv. Very clean improv.
I got yelled at the first time.
What did you do?
I tried to stand on the stool.
Oh.
They didn't say that.
Oh, yeah.
And I've noticed ever since I've gone, they do make it a point to say, don't stand on the stool. So the reason they say that now at the beginning of their shows is because of me.
Hey, you know what? That is a move. I think that I don't know. I might generalize here, but I've seen a lot of men do that move in improv, standing on stools. So I think maybe it's just part of. Maybe I don't know.
They don't want a lawsuit on their hands, which I would never. But it makes there's no waiver I'm signing going up there. So maybe if there was a waiver, then we could get a little bit more risque with it.
Yeah.
But all right, so long form and short form.
Yeah. So okay, long form is kind of what you do at the bridge. Okay, let me start over. Long form improv is like SNL but all made up. So it's actual scenes where you're doing scenes, you're playing characters and having interactions as like an actual scene that's like 2, 3, 4 minutes long, however long. So that's long form improv where you're creating like a situation like, oh, we're at a coffee shop right now having a scene. We're a married couple and we're breaking up, and that's our.
I can't do this anymore, dude.
Well, see, if we were breaking up, I wouldn't be drinking coffee. I would be on all the other things. I would have already chugged my coffee.
One eye open.
Oh, yeah. Or I would have been like, would have brought all like my other boyfriends here and be like, shit.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so what we're doing right now, this is long form improv. Okay. And then short form improv, do you know whose line is it anyway?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
No,
that's
great.
That's the best. Short form improv is more games and quick stuff. And that's kind of where you do, that's where like a lot of improvised punchlines come, like in short form improv. And so I started doing long form, and then I realized like, oh, I'm saying like, I'm really funny in these scenes, but other people aren't being funny. What is this? What is this about? And I realized like, oh, I'm kind of doing short form and stand up within my long form improv.
Yeah.
And so I was doing that for years, and then I was in a improv class with Steve Merrick. He's a local comic. He hasn't done, he's still in the scene, and he was a stand-up, and I saw him do shows, and I went to a bunch of shows because, I mean, okay, this was, way before I met my boyfriend, my amazing man I'm going to be with for the rest of my life. But before that, I went to stand-up shows because I thought the comics were cute. I'm not going to say who. It was years ago.
Yeah.
They're not around anymore. But I went to shows. So I'm like, oh, these guys are cute. And then I was like, I saw comics writing like on the spot. Like I saw them like they were about to go up, and then I saw them like all standing around a table like writing jokes like really quick. And I'm like, they're doing this like right before the show. They're right. And I was so, even though I wasn't doing stand-up, I was so intimidated by it, but also intrigued. And I'm naturally competitive, especially with men.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. So I see men doing something, I'm like, fuck yeah. Yeah, I'm not, this is just impressive. This is not intimidating. This is impressive, but yeah. Anyway.
I'm glad you think so.
Yeah, hell yeah. Okay. So then I started doing, I went to stand-up shows, and I used to, without realizing it, I used to do stand-up comedy on Facebook by just posting one-liners, which are just, before I knew what they were just my intrusive thoughts, and they were funny. And so then some comics, Genevieve Rice, Anthony DeSimito, they're not really in the scene. They're still kind of in the scene, I guess.
Yeah.
They booked me on my first book show, which I did before I ever did mics, and it was just us people reading their funny social media posts off of note cards. Yeah. And then after that, I was like, oh, I really like this. I don't want to have to memorize this. That took a few years. But yeah, so then I just started doing stand-up and fell in love with it like 7 years ago, I think.
No shit.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And the fact that you did it that way, it's a little bit more inviting than a standard open mic. Because have you ever done the pre-show at Bull Shooters with the bucket pool?
I haven't been there yet.
They give you so much grace because you're pulling it out, the subject, and you're supposed to riff on it, make a one-liner or something like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And what's cool is if you're there early enough, you can actually start throwing suggestions in there yourself.
Okay. Oh, that's really cool.
But I've noticed that, when there's kind of an angle there, you actually get a little bit more support from folks because they're gonna have to do the same thing.
Yeah.
But it's this. I don't know what it is. It allows like their guard to get dropped a little bit and be like, okay, they're really on the spot. Instead of when you go do a performed open mic set or a set, they're like, okay, well this, we know you're trying something out, but it should be a little bit more polished. So I've noticed that, and that's what's cool about what got you in it is if you went up there and everybody knows, hey, we're just doing our kind of statuses that we think are funny one-liners. I think that allows them to be a little bit more receptive to it. Yeah. And you probably had that feeling what I would if I'm in your shoes and be like, okay, I want to do this again. Like, let's go.
Yeah, that's totally it. Because and also, for some people going from improv to stand-up might be too much because it's improv in general is very supportive and you're all supporting each other and really just you all have each other's backs. Like before shows, you'll tap each other on the back, say, I got your back, I got your back. Still do that before improv shows. And then stand up, sometimes people can be mean. Sometimes, people, because we're all in it for ourselves. And then a lot of stand up involves roasting, which is not my thing. I can write good roasts, but being roasted, I will go home and eat. I will, as I'm being roasted, I will reach into my bag of prepped my M&Ms that I take to every show for crying, and then
for crying.
Yeah, well, not every show anymore, but yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. So yeah, but so improv. I forgot what I was saying.
Improv got you started.
Yeah.
And then you went into telling your statuses as a form of your joke telling, and then you started to get booked.
Yeah,
on shows.
I did a bunch of booked shows before I ever did an open mic, and they were all kind of like character shows. So, and I think that helped ease me into stand-up. I think was because I did this character in improv called Angus. Like I still do him now, but I started doing him years ago, and I did a set as Angus. And I also read off of note cards, and I was like, oh, this is getting a really good response. And because I'm playing someone who's not me. And
of course.
So yeah, that was kind of a cool transition. Improv to character, stand-up to stand-up. And so that made like actually going to open mics less scary. Because I had been stalking all the guys for like a few years just watching. I'm like,
who's this chick that's hanging around?
Why are her eyes wide and why is she twitching so much? And why did she bring her entire kitchen worth of Cheez-Its?
Cheez-Its, huh? You have a favorite dusting that you like on them? The white cheddar?
I eat them before I even notice the dusting. Binge eating disorder. I told you I've been in group therapy. Yeah. I know you're healthy because, okay.
Yeah.
I think I saw you do splits on stage once
Yeah, I definitely don't want to be known as a splits comic, but, it's...
Why not?
I don't want to be gimmicky. The same thing like people have told me, like, why don't you take a guitar up there or an instrument? And it's not... It's just the fact that I want my stand-up to stand alone from it. And as a musician, because I've been a musician, you can hide behind... Because if you talk to musicians, and I work at a music store... And when I talk to customers and they're like, whoa, you're doing stand-up? And I'm like, yeah, but you sing in front of people. That's my scariest thing is singing in front of people.
Oh, yeah?
Because I don't feel like I have a singing voice. I haven't, maybe if I took a couple lessons, I could find my niche. But I could never, do most of these songs out there any justice. And so to me, that's the scariest thing. But to them, they're like, well, I can hide behind that because... the vulnerability of hey, I'm gonna tell you guys something I think is funny and nobody laughs. Yeah, that's rough.
That is rough.
That's rough. But you'll notice as your ventures go along, a lot of times it's the setup, the delivery, all of that on how it airs out creates the funny as much as it being funny.
Exactly.
And and that's why I can attest that I have at least 2 or 3 friends that I'm begging to do stand up because they're funny.
Yeah.
Just the way they tell stories. They're always, when there's a barbecue or a party, they're always holding court.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'm just like, why don't you come out and do stand up? Like, nah. Because it's the pressure of now I'm on stage and I'm supposed to be funny and nobody laughs.
Yeah. And then
it definitely takes a rare breed.
Okay. So then do you think that comedians, that people who do comedy are insane? Or what is it? What do you, because I think that just because I'm, mentally ill, had dealt with, and that has definitely led me to doing comedy. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, do you think comics are insane? What do you think about that?
There is a level of almost arrogance, even like me saying I'm gonna host a podcast and people are gonna be into it.
Yeah.
They want to hear me talk.
Yeah.
There is a level of like that arrogance where I feel like that's why I don't do one on me solo in front of the camera. I not that I don't provide any value in that sense. It's just it's weird. It's weird. So there is a level of arrogance to somebody going on stage, and it's like
that's true.
And that's why like I don't like to smoke weed before I perform anything, because
Nice.
all my paranoia and insecurities come out.
Oh yeah, good.
Versus if I take a couple of shots.
Oh, really?
Then I'm like, yeah, I deserve to be on this stage.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are here to see a show, and I'm gonna give it to you.
Now, does that ever get you in trouble, like doing shots?
I did get a DUI. So
I was gonna say comedy-wise, but damn,
I'm in trouble with the law.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
I feel like that means you are. Hold on, let me knock on wood. That means you are a real comic. I knew you were a real comic before you shared that piece of information with me, and I've never had a DUI, but I'm a DUI kind of gal. I'm kidding.
Hey.
Yeah.
She toys with it, right?
Yeah, I'm an improviser. Yeah.
That definitely happened. That happened when I was in a band, and I had never smoked as much as I did until I started the band. Because everybody smokes.
Yeah.
And so then it's just like the thing you do, and then it was like, all right, let's hit this rest stop, as we're driving to shows, and then we'd light up, and then I thought we'd be chilling, because this is all new to me, being in the band and all that, and then they're like, all right, well, let's go, we got to get to the gig, and I'm just like, but, what you notice is because weed makes you more paranoid, you get more self-conscious about your driving. So it can make you a more attentive driver, even though you're slower in your reflexes, versus alcohol, which is the legal one that you can get on every fucking corner, makes you reckless.
Yeah.
It makes you, I can make that gap. I can make that red light or that yellow light, stuff like that,
Reminds me of my early 20s.
Yeah, there you go. No, I've definitely learned my lesson with that. Like, I went 7 months without drinking alcohol.
Damn, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I reincorporated it into my being social and all that. Yeah. But I've had 2 times I've had 1 time where I drank a lot, and I was just like, I don't like this anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know how I continued to try and function around people when I was this drunk, and I don't even think I was that drunk when I was this drunk. And then also the intimacy factor is non-existent when you're on alcohol, because I experienced it when I was most recently. I went to a Halloween party and got had quite a few drinks there, took an Uber home. And then trying to be intimate, I was like, dude, this is not cool. Yeah. I couldn't perform. There's this disconnect.
Oh, wait, we talking about dick and dick?
Yeah, we're talking about whiskey dick.
Oh, yeah. I thought you meant like being intimate with other comics. I'm like,
oh,
I mean, I guess that's what you call it.
Talking about romanticism.
Oh, okay.
And before that, my girlfriend had come out to a few of the open mics.
Okay, thank God she came.
Yeah. And she got drunk. And then I got home. I hadn't drank at all. And I got home, and I'm like, well, you're a little drunk. I was like, let me get a little high. And the thing about weed is it makes you more in tune with it. And then we ended up hooking up. And I was just like, dude, there was like a glossy sense over her.
Whoa.
Where I'm like, this doesn't feel right, and I had jokingly said, do I have your consent, like for this, like
good.
I say the stupidest shit when it shouldn't be happening, and like here we are, intimacy, and I go, do I have your consent? And she she had said and the next morning she was like, hey, thanks for saying that, even though I wanted to have it, like you still asked. And I'm like, I said it jokingly. She's like, I know, but there was a story going around, someone we knew through other people had a moment where she was texting a guy and like, yeah, we're gonna hook up, hook up. She goes over to his house. apparently she gets a little too drunk or high or whatever it is. They were both doing whatever it was. And then she was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Okay.
And then the guy was like, no, you came over here under these things and blah, blah, blah. And that the level of entitlement is non-existent. If you're married to a person, if you're in a relationship, even though you had the notions that, hey, we were going out to dinner and we talked about hooking up. Now I don't want to.
Yeah.
As soon as someone says no, it's no, man.
Yeah.
Stop, right?
Yeah.
So that was in the air. So when I said it, and she was like, hey, I'm thankful for that. But I told her, I was like, I don't like that you were drunk and I wasn't. And it felt, there was this weird.
Yeah.
It didn't feel right.
Yeah.
And I could tell that she was not fully in the moment either. And then on Halloween when I got drunk and then all that, I'm just like, this is not cool. I'm like, no thanks. And the fact that like every bar, people are getting drunk and hooking up on alcohol, and like there's this, it's like you're wearing a condom over your whole body, emotionally and physically is what it feels like.
Yeah, and that condom's always ripping. It's always ripping. That's really that's really awesome that you did that, and that you are like that, because you know there are so many guys and ladies
humans,
who are just like,
oh, trust me, I've been me too'd.
Damn.
Yeah, in high school.
Oh man.
And I had a 42-year-old when I was 22 get me really drunk, and again, I was asking for it, it's all that, but it was like, I mean, that's a huge age gap, power. Yeah, but when you're a 22-year-old dude, you're like, yeah, I'm bagging this 42-year-old. Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, no, there was this ego sense in that, but yeah, there after we had hooked up a couple times. Yeah, she definitely got me drunk. I was in a hip hop band at the time. We actually had just opened up for J. Cole.
What?
Yeah, back
was
in the
that
day.
here?
That was at the that place that closed on Broadway. What was it? Clubhouse?
Oh, I don't know. In Mesa or
Tempe?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it was called the Clubhouse. There was a shooting there like the following year, and they closed that bitch down. But I remember she had bought me 7 screwdrivers in the span of like 65 minutes, and then we went home to a house party, and here she is like in the living room, like shoving her hand down my pants.
Around other people?
She did not care. Like, it was this whole fucking thing, and I was like, yo, like, you gotta stop. I eventually kicked her out too, but it was like, dude, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Man? It's like, holy shit, dude. If a 22-year-old is talking to a 42-year-old about like, control yourself, that's kind of fun. And I was fucking drunk. But
thank God you were able to tell her, and you felt comfortable enough saying, hey, don't do this, stop. Like, because that's something I'm always working on, not like necessarily with like men or stuff like that, but like, standing up for myself, or getting out of situations, and hell yeah,
I'm a pleaser too. It's like I want to make people comfortable.
Yeah.
And that was one of the aspects which I talked about on my last podcast. I did do a one-on-one with myself, essentially talking about my DUI experience, and I was drunk and pushing myself onto a girl in Bisbee back in March, which sucked because I was taking my relationship currently serious at the time, and I told myself I'm not a person that's a predator. I make everyone comfortable. I was making this person uncomfortable. I was being very predatory, and I told myself I'm committed to this person, yet here I am entertaining this whole other thing. And so like that was a big eye-opener for me, where it's like, okay, dude, like, stop lying to yourself. That this is the case, because it just opens the door to that.
And that's good you caught that, and you had that awareness of what was happening and what you were doing, because a lot of people will be like, so what if I did that? I don't care. Yeah.
And that's what my girlfriend was scared of. She had dealt with that in her previous marriage, and when I talked to her, I was like, hey, I got a DUI, and she's like, fuck. Because in her world, a lot of the people that have been in my position are just like, well, I'm just fucked up, I'm just this, I'm that, there's no changing, fuck the man, this. I'm just like, I try to be the opposite. I try to take responsibility and try to analyze it and go forward. And I try to share that because I
Yeah.
think we connect more. Like when you're in those group settings,
Yeah.
therapy, I mean, you're gonna connect more with when you know kind of what someone's been through, the struggles, because
Yeah.
we all struggle. No matter how manufactured they might
Yeah.
be, you're still dealing with it.
And when someone, it's always nice when someone either shares, you know, fucked up shit they've done, or, you know, depending on what it is, or fucked up shit they've been through.
Yeah.
And even if they don't make it funny, it's just like, wow, it's always kind of comforting. Like, oh, you just shared that with me. Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, you kind of get to see the cloth that they're cut from. Is that
Yeah.
a term? I don't know.
It's something. I don't know sayings. I just know, yeah. I know it's a cloth, I guess. Something. Okay, so no splits on stage.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, you were talking about gimmicks and stuff. That's cool that you mentioned that, because I've always wanted to like play. I've always played piano, but I've always wanted to play keyboard on stage, but I waited for years because I'm a procrastinator and I put everything off. It's the worst thing in the whole entire world. But I thought of that when I first started. I'm like, if I do that now, if I start off as like a keyboard comic or whatever, like that's going to be my thing, or people are going to know me. And, you know, and there are so many, I guess I don't know if there are as many keyboard comics as guitar comics, but yeah, it's hard, like, to stand out and get out of that.
It's impressive, though. I mean, what can be done with it is definitely impressive. Like Bo
Yeah.
Burnham's and even the local guys with that. You know, it's definitely great. I'm not knocking it in any sense. It's just what I want to do is separate on its own than the music. I do want to play music. I need to record. I would love to perform my own stuff. But my comedy, I want it to be just my comedy.
Yeah, you got to get that skill set down first anyway. Like, get comfortable, you know, with everything to do with stand-up before, you know.
You almost do, and then you almost don't, because you will procrastinate.
Oh, yeah. God, I know.
You just have to go. People love to see you publicly fail or crash and burn.
Yeah.
For two reasons. I mean, people are going to relish, they went for it, But also, what I've noticed, I've posted, you know, dead air. My dead air from a 5-minute set one time was like 1 minute and 25 seconds.
Damn.
Yeah.
And you posted it?
And I posted just the dead air. At Devil's Advocate.
So you posted,
Just
you didn't
the dead
post like
air.
the joke or anything?
No.
Just
I was just like, here's what it's like to bomb guys.
damn,
okay?
that's awesome.
Yeah, so people, I've noticed that people are just like, holy shit, dude, like, okay. Because social media, you just see everybody killing it. You see all that. And no matter how much people say, hey, it's not like this, it's not like that, you know, that's still what's being put in front of you. And I see it and I get inspired, you know. Some people might see it and get discouraged, but that's why I choose to share, you know, what I'm struggling with and where I've fallen short and maybe underprepared, just to tell people, like, don't wait until you're, you know, you feel that you're at a spot. It's like it's like when they say, like, you'll never feel like you're ready for kids, you know. And it's like you'll never have enough money, you'll never have enough time, you'll never, you know, live in the right house, neighborhood X, Y, and Z. You just have to go. You just have to do it.
Yeah.
You just do.
Yeah. That's, I haven't seen that dead air video, but it's still on your Insta? Okay.
Yeah, it's on my Instagram. I think I'm wearing like a red shirt. I was doing 5 minutes on Santa Claus in July.
Ooh, oh man. Hey, you sound like an improviser with like the kind of I don't know. You say the fact that you set out to do these wild and crazy things, which I do too, so that is not an insult at all.
Yeah. And
you freaking do it is amazing. You know the comic Jim Norton?
Yeah.
Okay, he's one of my favorites. He posts, I mean, obviously he's a very established comedian and anything he says is funny, even if it's not funny. But so he posts his bombs on social media. And I don't necessarily bomb, but I have jokes where people will be like, they'll laugh after maybe a few seconds. And it's taken me years to accept that and not just accept it, but work with it and use it to my advantage. But So because of Jim Norton, I started posting more of those jokes where it's like, okay, this didn't get a huge laugh, but if people know my comedy or if they're into my kind of shit, they'll be like, okay, I see what she's doing. But then that's hard because I don't know if you've gotten comments like this. It might be, different for like ladies that are putting themselves out there, but I get so many mean comments on like YouTube and stuff, and it's just like, dude, you're insulting my body and my existence. Why aren't you insulting my terrible joke instead? And yeah, but so I love when people post like bombs or just like,
And that's just, attacking someone for their physical appearance is just the low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, it's the low-hanging fruit, and now, so the majority of the, so whenever I post like my stand-up clips, I post TikTok, Facebook Reels, Instagram Reels, and then YouTube Shorts. And YouTube, I've had to train myself. I leave comments on to help engagement, but I do not look at them. And I'll
you.
Because I would, up until maybe a year and a half ago, and depending on how late I take my psych meds every day, I would respond.
Which is Cheez-Its, right?
You know me. It is Cheez-Its. Thank you very much. Yeah. Cheez-Its, marshmallow fluff, lots of Zoloft is not just something I talk about on stage. It is my reality. Yeah. But,
Your YouTube Shorts, no comments.
Oh, yeah, no comments. And so, like, okay, I live with my parents, and they come to a lot of my shows, but a lot of times I'll send them my videos, and I'll send them clips, and I'll
Wait, are they the ones talking shit in the comments?
I haven't read them yet. My mom doesn't know how to comment on YouTube. I'm sure she doesn't.
That's what she tells you.
Oh, no. Okay, well, maybe you can go look at my comments and tell me. But I tell them, I email them from like 2 rooms away. I'm like, hey, here's a fun video. I'm proud of this joke. Don't read the comments. But, yeah.
I might have to get a tutorial on that from you because I don't have a TikTok. I don't post. The only thing I'm posting to YouTube right now is just my podcast episodes, which is like 1 a month at this point. But I should be posting a lot more shit to my YouTube.
Hell yeah, YouTube. It's really easy. I don't have a ton of followers, but I've gone from maybe this past year, I've gained like 100 followers.
Heck yeah.
And I get followers every time I post a YouTube short, which is like an Instagram reel. And you get, I've noticed that comics get a lot more views and likes and stuff on YouTube shorts rather than anything else. But yeah, that's where my elementary school bullies stay and live.
Those motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Just point them out, Dana. We'll rough
John,
them up.
Sam.
John, Sam.
I don't know.
Coming for that ass.
Yeah, no, I don't want it. I don't want the ass.
I do though.
Oh, okay. I'm sure John and Sam are.
What comics were you into at a young age? Maybe what was like the first comic that you saw? Maybe that didn't inspire you to do comedy, but like who were you into like growing up?
Comedic actresses. That was like, so Sherry SNL. Like that was like my
Sherry O'Terry.
Sherry O'Terry. Ooh.
Yeah, she's so good.
She's like, so when I was in 6th grade, I was 12 years old. That's when I really started getting into like sketch comedy. So every Saturday night there was SNL, Snick on Nickelodeon, which was Kenan and Kel, all that. A few other, but like Kenan and Kel, all that, those were, funny sketch kind of shows. So I would watch those every Saturday. And then on MTV, this was like 96. MTV, there was the Jenny McCarthy show, the sketch show. And so she led the sketch show. And look, I've watched some clips since then. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's the 90s though.
Oh yeah. Oh, it was, I know, that's the kind of humor I was into back then.
Yeah, for sure.
But so I was super inspired by just like the women doing silly things. And then Sherry O'Terry, she had this Colette Reardon, the pill lady character on SNL. She was just this character that was wearing like a nightgown, lipstick smeared on her face, all pilled out. And I saw her and I was like, oh fuck, I want to do that.
Oh,
and
shit.
I am still all pilled out to this day.
Hey.
Shouts
to Sherry O'Terry.
Yeah. But yeah, so it was more like comic actresses for a while, and then like Chris Kattan, and then I started getting into. I didn't really start getting into stand-up until my early 20s. Like Dane Cook, loved him on Comedy Central. Kathy Griffin, she, I think she was like the first. I was in maybe high school or my early 20s. Kathy Griffin was the first like stand-up comedian I really like followed and read her books and watched her show and watched all her specials. She's the freaking best. And then after that, when I was just doing improv, I hadn't started stand-up yet. My friend showed me Bo Burnham's What special, where he, I think he plays piano in all of his specials, but that one, he had so many silly one-liners, and I saw that and I was like, okay, God, I guess this is what I'm meant to do. And then that same friend showed me Eliza Schlesinger, and I was like, oh, fuck.
You got bit.
Yeah, I was like, fuck. And then a few years after that, I knew she was coming to Phoenix, and hold on, I'm spacing out. She was coming to Phoenix, and she posted on Twitter and said, hey, I'm looking for a woman, like, opener, or a woman to do a guest set for me in Phoenix. And I saw it, and I saw like some other local women commented on it, and I messaged her. I'm like, no. And I said, hey, can I do a spot? And she said, yeah. And so I did. I think I was only like 2 or 3 years into stand-up, and looking back, I was so bad. Yeah. So bad. But I got to do 2 guest sets at 2 of her shows, and then the next year, she messaged me the next year. She's like, hey, she was at Stand Up Live on New Year. She's like, hey, you want to come hang out? And I'm like, and I hadn't showered. I was like, it was like the one day where I was like, it's New Year's Eve. I'm not going out till later. I'm not going to shower. And I was an absolute mess. I hadn't found like my stripes yet. I hadn't discovered stripes. And and
you have now.
Yeah. Thank God. But and I went there, and I like, as I was walking up to Stand Up Live, I messaged her. I'm like, hey, can I get a set too? And she's like, oh yeah, sure. So I did 2 shows, 2 more guest sets for her, and they were terrible too. Absolutely terrible. But yeah, so it was just really cool, like seeing her and wanting to start comedy because of her. The special was War Paint, I think. She's wearing a red top, War Paint, and and then I got to open for her, and I was terrible, and I hosted for Jim Norton too, and I was terrible. Terrible.
Dude, that is awesome though.
Thank you.
Yeah, those are good, like, what, notches, I guess, to have?
Yeah, yeah. It was. I think it was back in maybe 2018 or 17 is when I opened for her, and then 2019 when I hosted for him. And
the good old years.
Yeah, and then, like, I got really down on myself up until maybe like a year ago. I'm like, the clubs don't like me. They don't book me. I reach out to them, and they don't like me. But looking back on my performances at the clubs, or at least like on those big shows, I don't blame them.
Gotcha.
And also, my style is just so different. Yeah. And so yeah, I've like finally like accepted that. Like, I'm not a club comic. Like, I'm not a club host. Oh my God, I would suck at it.
Yeah.
But you're gonna, if you do the game show battle rooms, damn, you can host anything.
Okay.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I haven't done it, but I feel like that's, like you said, that's like really good training to.
You bring up a very good point. Is that you have to find your audience. That's it. Yeah. And it's like you don't know until you get put out there, and people don't know you until they have the opportunity to see you. Yeah. Because it's like, my comedy. I definitely want it to balance between like funny, dark, silly, but also TED Talk-ish.
Oh, yeah.
I want to talk about some of the deeper stuff and make it funny and be like, hey, have you ever thought about how this is? Yeah. Kind of like, it feels so stupid to say because these guys are fucking huge, but like a Carlin, like a Jimmy Carr. Yeah. Like, some of those more introspective guys. Yeah.
I love that kind of comedy where it's, I mean, George Carlin is the best example, like, where they're telling you they're telling you about things like things you might notice about the world. You're like, oh yeah, that's kind of fucked up, but you don't put much thought into it because you, as in me, you aren't educated enough to understand what he's talking about and don't choose to read about it. And then he talks about it and he makes like all these really good points, and you're like, oh yeah, I'd vote for this guy if I felt like voting.
If I felt like
voting.
I don't know, I might. What are you gonna do for me?
Yeah, maybe if I have a red eye before, then I'll vote.
Yeah, a red eye makes you vote Republican.
I mean,
No, I'm just playing. That's a black eye.
Oh yeah. I mean that is their thing. They do that. That is their thing. Cheers.
Cheers. So, are some of your favorites now still? Obviously, Jim Norton and Eliza.
Yeah, So I honestly don't watch much stand-up. I watch more podcasts,
and that's cool too because you don't want to start sounding like your favorites.
Exactly.
And that's very easy to do. Like a local guy, I love his stuff. Gage Flick.
Okay, yeah.
But the way he delivers some of his stuff, I've noticed I could dance around that, and I'm just like, oh, dude, that's not, don't,
Yeah.
But it's tough, when you're really into someone and you appreciate that, there's that level of it influences you to an extent, and you have to kind of keep it at bay.
Yeah, I can even feel it. Like, I don't know I think it was Eliza. Oh, yeah, it was Eliza, because in her War Paint special, and I think in all her specials, she does this thing where she'll go like, and it's just, and I paid attention to it because she wore a ton of bracelets, and so I did that for like the year after I opened for her. I wore bracelets on stage, and then I found myself like doing her movements, and I'm like, I mean, no one's gonna know what I'm doing, but I caught that I was doing that.
But yeah, and comedy is so interesting in that sense. Just like improv too. You need to be mindful of what you wear on stage.
Oh yeah.
Because there's so much of the prejudgment and all of that, like just based on what you look like, you know, and that's the whole Matt Rife thing where it's like, you're too handsome to be funny and this and that, and it's like, dude, like, I mean, like I talk to my girlfriend all the time. I was like, I'm still getting used to the fact that people have found me more recently to be attractive and sexy because I'm still the freaking pudgy little 12, 13-year-old kid that was afraid to take off his shirt at the pool and afraid to go into the deep end and all that. And it's like, I've worked in the sense to kind of get where I am. And I get what you're saying where you're like, where you would go out to, open mics because there was the cute comics. And it's like, I've gotten validation for my intelligence. Like I was always really good in school in that sense, and I was always very active in sports, so my physical sense, like I knew I was there wherewithal, but I never felt like I had like the thing that like girls were like, oh, he's cute, he's that. So like my validation in that sense is up here, especially because the reason for my divorce is a year-long affair that my wife had. When I was in the best shape I had ever been, reading, going to therapy to work on my communication. So here I am providing the best, husbandly role, father figure that I could, and it wasn't enough, right? So like, hats off to all the ladies I dated after my divorce till now, because you guys definitely pumped me up. Yeah. And allowed me to kind of be like, okay, I am, and now I don't have the need. Obviously we're human and there's still the desire like baked into us because we need to just pass on our genes. But like, I'm more self-aware that I do look for validation from the female gender.
Yeah.
Right? And so I'm aware of that.
Yeah. Does it affect you like when you're on stage, like? Or when you're performing?
Really. No.
Okay.
No, I do like, I like my comedy to, I do like that it speaks to women. For one, I've always enjoyed conversation with women more than the dudes. Like if I'm at like a cookout or barbecue or this and that, like I was always more around the women talking because they provided a different perspective. You know, I'm a man, I'm a dude, I'm a kid, I'm a boy. Like, and there was just more depth to it too. You know, they weren't afraid to get a little bit more emotional. Whereas guys, it's all bravado, it's all bullshit. Until you get a couple guys one-on-one, you know, it's not there. But at least in a group of women, like you could pick up on certain things, and
there's a lot of empathy there.
And it's helped for me to be able to like address that. And so I do try to, you know, write a lot in the sense where it brings women into the picture too, you know. But
that's awesome.
You know, it's all that's tough, you know. Because again, like, so I have a bit about you know how business casual Fridays is a thing. I'm looking to do braless Mondays, you know.
Oh my God.
And so like I want that to just come out of my mouth, and they're like, who's this fucking pig on stage talking about braless Mondays?
Yeah.
But I want my comedy to be like, I say one thing and it turns somebody off, and by the end of my bit they're on my side.
You
know, that's what I would want, you know?
That sounds fun. That sounds like a fun challenge to write a joke like that, to where that's awesome. And fuck yeah. I think a lot of my guy friends in comedy are guys who talk more with like the women at shows, not hitting on them, just or have like the same vibe, I feel. And so like I just you're cool. Because I've done your podcast, Devin, and then Eric, and you guys have all been like super just like
Devin's an angel.
Oh my God! And his dog's an angel, and Eric's an angel, and he sparks up the world with his.
Eric is. He's a guy that surprised me, you know, because his comedy is so dark.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's so savage, and I'm just like, whoa, this guy's a little bit out there. And then I listened to a few of his podcasts with like the abuse and addiction one. And then I've seen a couple of his posts, and you know, I love to reshare events. It takes 2 seconds to hit share on something. I love to do that. I love to connect people. I love to make that happen. So when I did that, and he made it a point, he's like, hey, thanks for sharing my stuff. Like, you're, you know, totally cool. And I was like, oh, no worries, man. Like, that's what we're here for, man. Like, getting people connected.
Yeah.
You know, because there's going to be people feel like if you promote somebody else's show, then that takes away from yours. But you should just view it that you're going to promote it, and it's going to capture an audience member that would never go to your show anyways. Like, they're not going to be your taste.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is.
And even if they're not, like, going to the show, the fact that you put the awareness out there for your friend list, which might not be aware of this person that's running the show, and so they'll be on their radar. And I think that's super cool. Quick question: I think I saw you doing like characters with Starletta.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we did. I went out to fucking Las Vegas.
What?
You know, where she lives way out there, you know, from where I am.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I was just like 3 times I had to check the address again, like just making sure.
Way out there.
But yeah, we went out there, and we did like this whole like Starletta was like at a yoga retreat of some sort. It's back when I had my full beard and my longer hair, I think. Yeah. And so we did do a few scenes, and we've talked about doing me coming on the Starletta podcast. We were actually supposed to podcast on Friday, but she was having car trouble.
Oh man.
As we all go through.
Yeah.
And I told her, I was like, you know, I want to do sketches. I know a lot of the stuff I write is as like I'm reciting it to my girlfriend. She's like, that plays more like a sketch. This, and I'm just like, I know, because I watched a lot of Mad TV. Mad TV was my thing. For whatever reason, SNL just seemed like too howdy, you know, whatever. So Mad TV, Kids in the Hall.
Nice.
And I noticed that I do have a lot of that. This is the way my mind works, you know, and that's. I've had that realization lately that we're limited by our tools, right? And we all have an idea we want to portray in our head, and we want to get that out to the world, but we're limited by our tools, our capacity to do that. So people fall into just what they have. So my buddy Mike, an established Americana guitarist, but he wanted to do movies.
Ooh.
Or at least what he had in his mind was a movie. I knew what the character looked like, what he smelled like, you know, the aura in the air, you know, all that stuff, right? And he's like, but I had a guitar, so I just wrote songs.
Oh, okay.
And now, in his older years, he's like, I'm taking all those songs I wrote and actually making videos and movies.
Oh, nice.
And so, like, you just realize that we're just limited by our own tools and our own understanding in that moment, and we can never do what's up here justice as a painter, as you know, an architect. And I know that just in my performances on stage, where I'm just like, why are you know, as my mouth is saying the words, my brain's like, you weren't supposed to say it like that.
Oh,
wait,
okay.
why are you going down this way? You were supposed to take a right. Like, what? Stop. And then next thing you know, the moment's gone, and it's like, okay, next open mic, I'm gonna try and nail it.
Yeah.
And you rarely do.
Yeah. I hear you. I'm there a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty common with all of us here, just trying to be creative.
Yeah.
What shows do you have coming up?
I don't really have many. Dustin Hadlock is running a show at the Egyptian Hotel on, I think it's November 25th, and Egyptian Motor Hotel downtown Phoenix. So I'm on that show, and then I don't really have many this month, which is kind of nice. Like, I just had a big chunk of shows, and it was just like, I just need a break. So it just happened to pan out that way, where I just have like one more show this month, and but yeah, so
taking the time, you know, rest or write or fucking just veg out, you know.
Oh yeah, well, I wish you would have listed veg out first, because that is the number one goal. I mean, I'm still doing like improv and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm always doing some kind of improv. I'm trying to do more. I'm rambling. I forgot. Yeah.
Yeah. You were talking about maybe vegging out because you only have one more show left this month.
Yeah, because it's like, I love performing, and I want to perform as many nights as possible, but also when I do that, when I get a chance to actually have like multiple shows a week, I'm like, okay, I need to, if I'm going to do this consistently, I'm going to have to write more and just come up with more ideas for sets, because I don't like doing the same set every time. Yeah. Even at, like, because I feel like I have to do something different, or I have to do like improv in my sets. Also because I film most of my sets to put online. So, but if I go to a show and I do the same set I've always done, like for like a showcase show, like at Stir Crazy or something, like I'm going to do like my solid 5 minutes with maybe changing up a few one-liners here and there. But after that, it's like, oh, I didn't do anything new. I didn't move. I mean, yeah, I did a show and I got $20 or whatever, but I didn't move along in my creativity, and I don't feel super good about the new jokes that got laughs, because I didn't do any new jokes. But yeah, so yeah.
Yeah, we do slide into what's going to work, but you almost have to for those shows, because you do have to think about the audience, right?
Oh, yeah, sometimes I forget that.
Yeah, where it's like, hey, you know, these folks paid good money to be entertained. Yeah. You know, and that's the fact, is like, people think it's like, oh, you know, you're just performing, like when you're in a band. It's like, oh, you're just having fun. You're on stage. Yeah, it's fun. It's fulfilling, but you're still on. Yeah. You know, it's like, I dated a stripper there for a moment. Yeah, when she would come home, it was just like, boom, like it was her performance was over, you know, because it's like when you're there, you know, they don't want the real you. Yeah. They want you. I want you to make me feel like I'm interesting, that I'm important, that I'm sexy. You know, that's what the patron is asking of the women there. And then she gets home and she's like, oh, I can let all that down and just really be myself and be honest. And also, you know, it's like the love, or the like she was into one person, right? She's into me, right? But she's having to pretend that she's into these other guys. So then it's like, now I can actually honestly give out my love and attention and affection to the person that I want to. So that was definitely interesting to kind of see that aspect, because you don't think about that, you know, as a performer. You're like, oh, well, you're doing what you love, it's on stage, and you're getting all these laughs and applause, and it's like, yeah, but I'm still on, you know.
Yeah, I'm not like watching it happen. I'm in it, and I have to deal with whatever happened afterwards and think about it even afterwards, and
that's a big aspect that people do need to consider from the performing arts. And that only comes from you getting familiar with it, listening to podcasts, and jumping into something to try it.
Yeah.
I didn't appreciate golf until I tried it.
Oh, yeah?
And I'm just like, okay, now I see.
Okay.
And playing golf to me is like hitting up open mics.
Wow, okay.
It has the same vibe.
Do you bomb?
When I do...
You play golf?
I do very bad.
Okay.
Yeah, I do very bad.
Yeah.
Easily like 25 to 30 strokes over more than I should. And that's because I do count everything. I mean, a lot of people you talk to aren't going to count, you know, like some of their bad hits.
Yeah.
But it's different. You know, you're not always going to hit the ball the same. It might be windy.
Yeah.
It might be cloudy. And the grass is going to perform differently. So there's so many aspects. And every time you step up to a ball, it's a new problem.
Oh,
where does it sit? How far do I have to hit it? What's behind? What's around where it's going to land? Okay, maybe I use this. Oh, maybe this is coming in. Oh, I don't feel so confident with this stick. It's almost like I don't feel confident with this joke, so I'm gonna use this joke.
Oh, okay.
You know?
Okay.
It's so many of the same thing, because you can do Mic Drop Mania, right? Do their open mic every week. You could play the golf course right down the street every week, and you're gonna perform differently at each one. You're not always gonna hit the ball exactly where it was the last time.
Yeah.
You know? So there's a lot of similarities between that I get, and I love it. You know, that problem solving.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. That's interesting. I guess, you really can kind of translate improv and comedy and stuff into sports.
And you have to be smooth. Because your idea is like, oh, I'm just going to hit the shit out of it. You're going to be tense. And you're going to be off. No, it's all about fluidity.
Okay.
And so when you're on stage, the problem I have right now is I'm very reciteful. Da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da.
Oh,
you need to come here and be relaxed and be loose with it. And that's where the magic happens. And, but getting to that point of almost like a flow state, it's hard. Yeah,
that is hard. And then, and it can also change. Like, you're in the flow state, or you're almost there, and then you have a golf ball hitting you in the head while you're performing for a bachelorette party or something. And you forget what you're talking about or something.
You've performed for bachelorette parties?
I know a lot of comics have. I haven't, but so Mic Drop Mania has the brunch shows on Sundays,
right.
And a lot of those are like, the audiences are mostly women drinkers. Women, you're boozing it up on a Sunday at 1 p.m. Mm-hmm. So it's a few of the shows, it's kind of been like a bachelorette party.
Gotcha.
But and I think this is like my where like improv comes in for me. I like those kind of distractions or interruptions in shows like that, where it's more free and you can be silly and you can kind of veer from your normal set and do something different. So I like those kind of interruptions. But I mean, oh God, if I were doing like a bar show, or I don't know, I think a bachelorette party at a bar would be fun too, because I would just be like, what the fuck, bitches? What are these bitches doing? I don't know. I wouldn't call them bitches. I don't know.
No,
Skink hoes?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Skinky hoes.
Yeah. Have you performed for one? Or?
No. I'm only 6 months. I started back up in April.
So, oh, wow.
Because
okay.
I had tried it in 2019.
Okay.
And then I quit my band in April and jumped back into stand-up. So
where did you do stand-up in 2018 or 19?
At Devil's Advocate.
Okay.
And Improv Mania. That was my first time was at Improv Mania.
Oh, okay.
And I think that was it. I would just do those two Mondays and Thursdays. And now I hit it. But that's the thing, is like I've only stuck to the East Valley because of the whole band situation where I was like gun-ho.
Yeah.
I was like, I gotta relax, dude. Don't be spending so much in gas.
Yeah.
And the time and all that. But I need to get out there. I need to get out to Stir Crazy. I need to get up to House of Comedy. I've yet to do those.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, Stir Crazy. They're both awesome.
Yeah.
And Yeah, because there's like a few. Mike Dapper books a few like showcases every month that you could get on. And
put in a good work, girl. I'm gonna try and work my magic too. I just met Tara the other day. I know she's no longer up at House of Comedy.
Tara Shakespeare. Oh, you just met her?
I just met her. Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, she ran some good shows there. I think she's running shows elsewhere. Yeah, she's awesome. Oh yeah, so you're meeting all like the players in the game.
Yeah, slowly. Yeah, I've just been. Yeah, I told myself, and I actually wrote down a timeline, which I never do. I'm like, okay, let me see where I need to be, and right about now is where I told myself I should be ramping it up. I should be. Hey, Mike, you know, I'm interested. Please book me on shows. What do I got to do?
Yeah.
You know that because I've already been hit up to do a handful of shows without me asking, and that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted. Or I'm like, hey, whether they pay or not, people are asking me to be a part of something, right? So that's where I wanted it to be right about now, and now I'm just need to take it to the next level.
Well, you should message Mike, and then do you ever? Oh wait, no, you haven't been to Stir Crazy.
No, not
because
yet.
that mic is awesome too, but you have to like do the crazy online sign up.
Oh, I've heard.
Yeah, but it's seriously like. It's so worth it because it's just an amazing club. It's a small club, but it's what I imagine clubs in like New York to be like the size. Tom, the owner, just put so much thought into all the details of everything, and yeah, and also the Brian who runs video there, Brian Kohatsu. He am I saying his name right? Doesn't matter. You know it. I should have asked him before I came here. Hey, just in case I mention you.
Just say it every possible way, and then I'll edit it.
Brian... I don't. I'll butcher it even more. Brian Kohatsu. I know how to say it. He films most shows there, and then you can pay $20 for your video. And the Stir Crazy videos are some of the best. Like, the quality's awesome, and also I've noticed that a lot of comics that post videos from Stir Crazy specifically get more like likes and stuff. I think it just looks good, sounds good.
It's a great business move.
It is.
Do you want to be my agent, Dana?
I mean, I'm not good at standing up for myself or other people, so I'll have to deny your choice and say, I'll deny your improv choice and say no. But, if you want to pay me like $50,000 every 2 weeks, don't report it to anyone because, under the table, we can talk.
Hey.
Yeah.
I would like that.
Okay, cool.
I want to take a bathroom break. Are you tied up? Are you on
No, I'm good. You go and then I'll go. I'll just sit here talking. No.
I'm interested to see what's going to happen.
All right. Wait, should I really?
No.
Okay, good. Thank God. Can I just say I'm really proud of myself for driving under a ball of fire today and living to tell the tale?
Yeah, let's hear this. Hold on. Get up in there.
Oh, thank you.
Turn it to you. Whatever you need to do. Just get that mother up on your face.
I'll gut it, yeah.
So you left me a crazy voicemail.
Oh, yeah.
So I was here just setting up. And you're like, hey, I'm going to be 10 minutes late. There was a fireball over my head.
Yeah, it was... I just got the buzz from the neighborhood because it was by my house. I guess someone drove into... I don't understand science. I'm not even going to try. Or electricity or fire. But they drove into a box.
That's why I have you on this show, is to help me understand science.
Okay, so chemistry is I think that's something with like juices. You mix juices together, so that's chemistry.
Yeah.
Physics is where stuff explodes. I don't know.
So someone ran into...
I guess I didn't see a car. So it was by a school. I didn't see a car run into anything. I was just driving north on this like neighborhood road, and then I heard this crazy sound, and honestly my first thought was, well, right before that I was thinking, I gotta check Instagram or something while I was driving, and I was like, no, don't do it. And I wish I would have, because I could have filmed it as it happened, but it was so fast, and it was this huge fireball explosion up in the sky, and then it just stopped, and I sped. I just sped past it like this, and I wish I would have gotten a video or like been more involved so I can be like, yo.
So it's like a telephone pole of some sort, or
it was on a power line. It was like a big silver box, like human size, on a power line by a school, and it just exploded. Stuff. I was right under it.
Damn.
Oh, but so I just got video. I got to the stoplight, and then I was like, oh my god, this is the video I've always wanted to get. And
did you shout World Star?
No. Maybe if I did, it would have exploded again. I would have gotten something.
It was waiting for it. It was like,
damn. But yeah, so I just got footage of just like the smoke afterwards, but.
And then you fled the scene of the crime.
Yeah. Well, I called the school. I'm like,
oh, you did?
Yeah, they didn't answer. I'm like, do I have to call 911? And then I called the non-emergency line, and.
What a good Samaritan.
I guess. Honestly, I thought like I thought, okay, if my transformer exploded or whatever, if my power line box exploded, I'd want someone to help.
Is this an innuendo? What's going on here?
Oh, no. I'm on too many medications for my power line to explode anytime soon, so can't do that.
Oh, my God.
Not just joking when I talk about Zoloft on stage. Yeah.
Oh, all those things are so scary to me, but I haven't been through what you folks have been through.
Oh, what do you mean? Fire or meds?
Meds.
Well, okay, so you're a healthy person. You seem like a healthy person, right? You work out, you probably eat vegetables more than once a day?
Yeah, well, I eat like once a day for the most part.
And then what do you eat, like a carrot? Like what do you eat?
No, it's usually a good meal. Usually there's like a meat, protein, vegetables.
Okay.
It really depends. I'm not that picky because I try to be as strict as possible when I can.
Okay.
So when I actually do eat, I can just indulge a bit.
Okay.
You know, I try to avoid, breads and pastas, but they're so fucking delicious. What do you want me to do?
God, maybe one day I'll try to avoid those things, but they're always calling me, leaving me messages.
Well, they're calling me too. It's just there is something. I've gotten to the point, and it sucked at first, but I've gotten to the point where it feels good to tell my stomach to shut up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there is a clarity. I'm definitely like way sharper when I'm fasted.
Oh, I've heard that.
And then by the time I get home, I'll just go to town.
Yeah.
I mean, I eat way too late these days too. Especially with the comedy scene and all that. I'm like eating later than I would like to, but fuck it.
Do you ever eat at shows or eat like bar, restaurant food? Okay.
Yeah, not often. I mean, I'm a lot more broke these days than I had been.
Same.
So I try not to. But yeah. I'm not. As I tell people, I try to be strict as much as I can.
Yeah.
Because I know there's gonna be plenty of times where I have a nice tasty beverage.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have. I mean, there's Krispy Kreme donuts sitting on top of the microwave at the house. Like,
you can leave donuts and not eat them all. See, that's why you aren't on medicine, because you don't do stuff like that. Maybe if I stopped doing stuff like that, I wouldn't need medicine.
I mean, trust me, my fat kid, I used to be almost 260.
Oh, shit.
So, I in 2016, I started my weight loss journey, and then it's fluctuated from there. But no, my fat kid status would be to get like the biggest cup I could and get those Mexican donuts, those conchas.
Yeah.
And break up like 2 of them in here.
Wait, like the pink ones?
Yeah, the pink and the yellow and the brown or whatever you're going to do, right? And throw them in here and then put milk all over it and then just scoop it up and it just becomes sop. My mouth is watering just thinking about that.
When you said sop, I gagged, but I did not mean the gag because the donuts and the milk sound amazing.
Yes.
Would you drink it or eat it with a spoon?
As I'm watching WCW, watching
Women Crush Women. Oh, what is that?
Well, it was World Championship Wrestling, but Women Crush Wednesdays.
Women Crush. Oh, yeah.
No. I'm talking about when I was a kid. WCW, back in NWO and all that.
Oh, okay. Oh.
My little fat ass is sitting there, hiding behind my bed and watching WCW and eating all those donuts.
God,
That's my fat kid status.
Would Hulk Hogan approve of that? I don't know WCW. See, my boyfriend has introduced me to different eras of wrestling and stuff, and I think we stopped the research once we got to NWO.
Gotcha.
But I watched some cage fights or ladder cage fights.
Wild.
Who's Mitt Romney or
Mick Foley? Yeah, Mankind.
Mitt Romney's politician. Yeah,
It's a
Mitt
different
Romney.
sort of cage. He put kids
Yeah.
in cages for another reason. No, just playing.
Oh,
I don't know if he did.
yeah. Okay. Okay, you said Mick Foley.
Mick Foley.
And okay, yeah, that. Yeah, I just like telling guys that I know about wrestling just so I can be like, I'm
Relate
cool.
a bit, yeah.
Yeah, but that's the only thing I remember.
It's definitely weird, right? Obviously everybody's like, oh, it's wrestling, it's fake, it's scripted.
It's awesome.
It's entertainment, and you're creating stars and names and reputations, and there's another word I'm looking for there, but it's weird what becomes part of the zeitgeist in it. So as a kid, I was like, holy shit, these guys are fighting, they're cool, they're all buff, they look like they're mean. And then as you get older, you're like, oh fuck, boxing is where it's at, and then MMA came along, and it's like, this is the real fighting,
Yeah.
So then it's just like, what the fuck is this? But now in my mid 30s, I look at those guys and I'm like, they're my age, going from town to town night after night, being dropped on plywood, jumping around, getting hit with chairs, coming off of being thrown off of ladders and cages,
landing on their backs.
and I'm just like, dude, like I got chills thinking about it, just because it's like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
Like that is crazy. And so now it's impressive for a different reason. As a kid, you're impressed because like, oh, these guys are fighters, or the coolest, and then you fall out of it. But now I'm just like, I just have a mad appreciation as the performance aspect of it, because they're having to captivate the crowd with the mic and with their.
It's like theater.
It's total theater,
Yeah.
except you're getting fucked up, and that's why they all get, they all have a dozen back surgeries, neck surgeries, and addicted to fucking pills, man.
Yeah.
All for the love of the crowd.
Oh,
come on, man.
I love. Who's the guy that pulls out the
Macho Man?
Macho Man. I love watching his promos. Like we watch his promos, and he's like, hey,
amazing. Like what that would do. Like that they figured that out.
Yeah.
My hats off to them. I'm not into it like I was at all, but my appreciation for it it's even more than it was when I was a kid, because I know what kind of shape I would be in if I tried that shit.
Yeah.
I would not. I couldn't handle it.
The shit they go through, the things they fall through, the things they fall off of is crazy. And yeah, when I was younger, I was like, oh, boys like wrestling. I don't like wrestling. It's so boring. Sports, it's like, it's a sport. I don't like sports. Still feel the same about sports, but I appreciate them.
Yeah.
But wrestling, like my friend Brian and my boyfriend, they grew up watching it too. And they've introduced me. And I think the fact that they're aware, because when I was younger, I thought, oh, these guys don't know it's all fake. Like, it was, 12-year-old me, I'm like, or 20-year-old me, I don't know. Same person. But like, it's still the same person. But like, yeah, they showed me all these awesome videos, like the cage ladder matches and
Hell in a Cell.
That's it, Hell in a Cell. Oh my God, I watched it so many times, and then I watched the commentary from Mick Foley and Mankind from like last year.
Like
it was
narrating
recent.
it?
Yeah.
Oh,
it was really cool, and also like the production value, because I used to produce shows, and I want to start doing it again, and like fun, like character-y, silly improv, stand-up, a good mix, and that's what they're doing when they're doing like those promos and stuff, and their entrances, the rest of, fuck. So I appreciate it now. Like,
yeah, you appreciate it for different aspects. You don't. As a kid, you grew up with their idea of what it was trying to be.
Yeah.
And for those kids, it is trying to be that. But then as an adult that's gone through performance and putting on shows, and you've been beat up physically, one way or another, and so like then you can appreciate it for those actual aspects to have it keep running.
Yeah. I know there are like a bunch of like underground like wrestling things and stuff here. Like I think there's one, I did a show, my boyfriend's concert, it was amazing, at Grand Ave Pizza Company, which is now in Glendale. Okay. And I guess they have like underground wrestling shows there. Yeah, I want to go up, I want to wrestle.
You want to get in, you want to step in the cage? You would be a formidable opponent.
Me?
Yes. Some big knee-high boots and like some gloves, like some
like
biker
spiked gloves,
whatever you want.
Okay, maybe with like, because I don't want to like hurt anyone, but I want to intimidate them. So maybe like Edward Scissorhands gloves.
Yeah, but also the guys there are looking to get hurt.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
See you there.
Yeah. They'll be like, yeah, throw me into a table. Yeah, I went to high school with a kid that was obsessed with it, and he's stayed in it. I think he's part of Revolt Wrestling, which does shows in like Southern Arizona.
Oh,
like,
shit. Okay.
Tucson to Yuma and all that.
So he got hurt and was like, I like this. I'm going to do it again.
That kid, he was one of those kids that, you could hit him over the head with a bottle of beer and he'd be like, oh, we're doing this.
God. Sometimes I wish I was like that because, like,
me too.
Oh yeah. Oh, you don't do that. You're not. I wish I could. I mean, I love guys, and I love how silly and like my boyfriend tells me about like his childhood and all the crazy shit he and his guy friends did when they were kids. I'm like, man, when I was a little girl, we would watch all the boys do that crazy shit and talk about them. But I wish I was setting things on fire and breaking toilets on purpose.
Yeah, those are the real physicists right there. Teenage boys.
Oh, yeah.
Adolescent boys.
Good callback. Yeah. Those are the scientists. Those are the ones that are going to run our world until a woman takes over.
Eventually. And sets it right.
Ground and pounds them. Or, no, that's not wrestling. People's elbows them. I don't know.
Yeah, there you go. The Rock says.
The Rock, who wants to run for president.
Does he? Has he mentioned it?
Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
What else?
Dude, I don't know. At the end of the day, it's like, what the fuck does... I don't know.
What does the president even do?
I don't know.
Like, if we're going to have someone who's like the face of the country, might as well make it someone funny, like Carrot Top or something.
Yeah, right.
Like, or make it...
Everything's a prop.
Yeah, because really, that's what America is. It's a prop.
Hey!
Dude.
That's good.
Oh, that was good. Oh, I didn't catch the song you were doing at first. You are a good singer. You can sing America songs.
America. Have you watched Team America?
Years ago, but it was before I appreciated movies and only watched them when guys made me watch them. And so I had like when I was watching it, I was just annoyed the whole time.
Hold on. So you grew up not appreciating movies? Or what do you mean?
I grew up like people... Yeah, I guess.
I guess they were pushing like whatever they were into on you, and you're like,
Yeah, there was like a period of time where like people friends when I was younger introduced me to classic movies, and then I watched them, and I was like, I don't want to watch Goonies. What are you talking about? This is stupid. And so now, like at age almost 40, I'm like watching movies that are like new to me.
Yeah,
and
I get that.
Yeah, but Team America.
Team America, with the marionettes.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just shit on the movie. It was just I was watching it with some like chode burglar when I was like 15 or 20, whenever it came out, and I was like, I would rather him pay attention to me and tell me I'm pretty instead of watching this damn movie. And then it didn't happen.
That makes total sense.
Yeah,
that makes total sense.
Yeah.
I have this. I'm writing this blog post right now. It's like, and I felt really good about closing my laptop today on the way here because I was like, "Fuck yeah!"
While you were on the freeway,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I ran into this telephone pole, and yeah.
Oh, I knew it. I knew it.
But it's talking about like being understood and just our communication.
Okay.
Like, because even a perfect example was when you got here, you're like, hey, yeah, sorry, I'm late. And I was like, you relax, this and that. I was like, there's no worries about you running late. And I did finger quotes as if I was calling you out on you really. And you're like, I got video. And I'm like, no, that's not even what I was saying. I'm like, I'm so relaxed right now. Oh, hell yeah. That I'm not in a rush. I want you comfortable. So
thank you.
To me, it was like, you're not late. Like I said 11, but also, I know to give ourselves buffers because life happens, and it's like, thank you. I'm all yours until like 1:45 when I got to pack up and pick up my kids from school, so it's like I'm in no rush. So I just wanted to be able to convey that, like, hey, relax. But even when I said that, I was like, yeah, when you were late and you're like, oh my gosh, no, I got video. I'm like, no.
But I knew you were teasing, or I thought you were teasing, so I didn't think like you were being like a dick or anything.
Yeah. No, and that's what I'm talking about, like in my blog post about communication, where it's like, that's why so many misunderstandings just happen in general, just because.
And in general, in comedy,
because I've said that. Your mouth it's saying one thing, your mind's like, why are you doing this?
Yeah, and then then that mouth says things through like Facebook posts or Instagram posts where other people can see him, and
and then you go rub one out and you're like, whoa, who's this person?
yeah, you're completely. I mean, I don't know. I don't understand that experience, but pills. But I get it. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a different person. I guess. Do you get hangry?
No, I just get. I have a lot of issues with food and like hunger cues and stuff because I don't know when I'm hungry. I don't know I'm hungry until I feel like I'm going to pass out.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so I don't get hangry. I am just a.
You're like an amoeba.
Is that
I don't know. It just
fish?
sounded.
No, it's not fish. Amoeba. That's a little gooey thing that you step on. I'm an amoeba. I don't know.
Gooey thing
I don't
you
know.
step on.
Something. Oh no, that's another comic. I don't know. No.
They're an amoeba.
Maybe.
Rob Amoeba.
Rob Amoeba. Like Rob Maybe?
Yeah.
No, I like that guy. That's a cool guy.
Rob Maybe is amazing. And
He's
it's
the
like,
best.
he's a guy that you would see and be like, oh, I don't know about that guy. Should be maybe. And like you talk to him and he's fucking awesome.
Yeah, he's the coolest. Oh yeah, he's
intimidating when you see him, when you see him come through and he's got that big heavy voice, you know.
yeah,
like that.
he walks through, he's got like a mission, like, I'm gonna go do comedy. And he's the nicest guy. He's so supportive. So my boyfriend, his band, Concrete Pinatas, they're hip-hop. They kind of sound like Cypress Hill and have the look of a more polished Slipknot. So they make their own masks and stuff, and
So dope.
my boyfriend makes all the beats and does like live beats and stuff. He's amazing. And so they're a lot of the guys in the Concrete Pinatas they're from Maryvale. And that's where Rob's from. So he was like a fan of like my boyfriend's old group way back in the day, and he didn't even know he was in it. So Rob was on. We had my boyfriend's concert, and it was part concert, part comedy show. So Rob was on it, and he was the freaking best. Like, I mean, because it was like a Maryvale crowd, so he knows, like, yeah, and yeah, he's the coolest. He's always been. I don't know if he was at the mics when I was going and stalking all the guys, but I never saw him, but I know he was doing stand-up back then.
Yeah. I think he's gone through his, ebb and flow in it because he's mentioned, some of the big shows that he's been a part of and stuff.
Yeah, he's done like a lot of big stuff.
Yeah, he's been all over the place.
Yeah.
We need some of those people that are here that you can, look up to in the sense of like, okay, like you're tried and tested as well, like,
Yeah,
I can lean on you in certain moments and
get advice and
he's giving me advice when no reason to, like nothing other than we happen to be in the same room and have a quick 10-20 seconds where we're alone, and it's like, hey dude, boom boom boom. And he's awesome. I'm a big fan of him.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, him and like Josh Harrison.
Oh yeah, Josh was on the show too. Yeah, they were so cool because like I was hosting the concert portion of the show, and which was scary as fuck at first. Once I did it, I was like, oh, this is kind of fun. But and like I was so anxious, but like, Rob and Josh were right there, and they were like coming up to me and helping me out, and I like I felt, because normally I don't feel comfortable asking for help with anything. It's a big issue, but with them I'm like, hey,
from men smaller than you, what it is?
Oh no, they're bigger than me.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You don't feel comfortable from men smaller than you, but they're bigger than you, so that you're like, oh,
well,
hey.
I'm taller than my boyfriend, and I'll ask him for help all the time.
Oh, hell
I'll be
yeah.
like, hey man, lift up this car for me. I can't do it myself. I forgot where I was going, but yeah, so they're
I gotta
helpful.
stop doing that to you. So.
What? I go with it every time. I'll go with it. Yeah, whatever you say, I'll come back with something.
So you were asking Josh for maybe advice on something or help with something?
Oh no, I was too nervous to go and ask for a pitcher of water at the bar because I get anxious, and so I just asked them, and they did it for me a few times, and I was like, oh yeah, I like this bossing guys around thing. No, but they were so helpful, and just it was nice having them there because I've also done a bunch of I've done a bunch of Josh's shows over the years and been on shows with Rob, and so yeah, they're good guys. Yeah,
for sure.
Good
things about Josh and Rob.
Yeah.
I feel like they should have their own Nickelodeon show.
Ooh, yeah. Josh and Rob.
Just leave it honest and just bleep out stuff. Half the show would just be bleeps.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. It would be on Nickelodeon?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. I mean, I guess that's probably where Nickelodeon is headed anyway, just bleeping everything, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't watched it in a while.
I haven't either. Maybe we should pitch our show.
I mean, you can pitch the show and I'll just sit back and eat food and you tell me about it later and then I'll be like, okay.
At least you're eating, Dana.
Yeah, I guess. I haven't eaten today. I'm thinking I'm going to get a Rubio's burrito on the way home and then maybe tomorrow start considering eating like salad or something.
No, Rubio's burrito is good.
Yeah. I mean, there's like a piece of tomato in it, so.
Oh.
Yeah.
You're fine.
Thanks.
You're fine.
Thanks.
Life is short and life is long.
Knock on wood. God,
Yeah.
I know this isn't wood, but I gotta knock on something.
You know what book you would enjoy?
What? Babysitter's Club?
Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows.
Ooh, Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows.
I'll send you like the screenshot.
Yeah.
I'll remind you of it. Very, very good YouTube channel I came across like over 10 years ago, and the guy ended up coming out with his own book. So he would take like these feelings or a situation that most of us are kind of familiar with, but there's no word for it. And he had he has a degree in linguistics or something.
Oh, okay.
Where he would create a word for it, and then he would make videos and edit them to the words. Very introspective. It's not a book that you just kind of sit and like read through, because it plays out like a dictionary. There are certain passages in there, but it's definitely a book. Like when I become a little bit more wealthy, I would use it as like a gift book. You know, it's one of those to me. I've already gifted it twice.
Oh, that's awesome.
But yeah, I definitely think it's right up the alley. And the whole thing is that what we talked about earlier is when you're feeling, sadness, I guess, or you're feeling, your trials, is to allow them to be felt.
Yeah.
Because being sad doesn't mean that you're never going to be sad. It actually, what he talks about as he starts the book, it's a derivative of to be satiated.
Okay.
To feel in its entirety, because when you fully feel something, you also recognize that there's a little bit of sadness in there. And what he talks about, that how we view being sad these days, is actually despair, where you feel like there's no hope. But to be sad is natural, and it should be welcomed, and I think that comes with the level of maturity. Same thing, intelligence, just the same thing, like why it makes sense that people are anxious. You're just analyzing every scenario that could happen, and so there is a level of intelligence in there. It's just that you gotta be able to kind of tone it down a bit to perform your day to day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like that it's more despair. Because that's like when it's hard to... Because when you're trying to like force your way out of the sadness or despair, that does make it so much worse than just sitting in it and accepting like, oh, I'm sad. What am I sad about? Oh, my nose makes me sad. Oh, this makes me sad too. Oh, that's kind of funny that everything makes me sad. And then, I don't know. I don't know.
Well, there's just a level. Even like a good moment, you could be like sad about it because you can realize that this will never happen again, And when I did one of my first mushroom trips, I saw a picture of me as a baby, like maybe like 7-8 months old. Like
a real picture or a trip?
Real picture. Okay. No, yeah. And I looked at it and I was like, I'll never be that happy again.
Oh!
I will never have that pure joy that young child has there, because we've been through life.
Yeah.
You've been through your ups and downs, your trials. You've recognized that everything has conditions. Everything has like the downside of it. And so, there is some sadness in that. I don't know. That's why it's literally why you just have to be in the present, in the moment, and just be with it and enjoy it to the fullest, because this good conversation won't last, Dana.
Oh, God. Damn. Yeah. I forgot where... what I was gonna say, but yeah, that gives me hope about my future, any future sadness. Again, I have OCD. That's what I'm medicated for, so I have to knock on wood, or else that's the anxiety. A wood. Is it a wood chip?
There you go.
Thank you. Because normally I just like knock on people's heads or like.
Because they're dense.
Yeah. Thank you. Seriously. I'll remember this forever.
Make a dirty pun, but I'm not going
Just
to.
do it. I'll roll with it.
Well, I'm glad I gave you wood instead of you giving me wood.
Oh, you know, I can't give you wood. It's tucked. Got a lot of duct tape down there. Sick.
Dana, can you give our lovely folks at home the best life advice you could ever give?
Oh.
Wrapped into 14 seconds. 13.
Be
12.
nice to people. Just be nice to people. Be kind. Even if you don't talk shit about people, you know, because in comedy, you get a lot of that. People and it's everywhere, but people post like rude things online about other people or call other people out for stuff. And a lot of bullying. Just even if you dislike someone or you think they're weird or awkward or you're like, or you want to bully them or whatever you want to do it in the privacy of your own mind, or tell a pillow how ugly you think their pants are or how you think they're a terrible comedian. Don't say it to another person. Just be nice. Try to have empathy. If you can't, talk to me. I'll do it for you. Just be nice to people. God damn it.
Beautiful. Be nice.
God, you stupid fuck.
Dana, what are your social media handles?
Dana Whissen on everything. DANAWHISSEN. Follow me everywhere. Just don't follow me in person because I'll fuck you up.
Got them bows.
Yeah, got the knee-high wrestling boots, and I got Mick Foley standing nearby with a cage.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want that hell in a cell, brother.
Yeah, I am a hell in a cell.
Dana Whissen, she's a hell in a cell.
Oh, yeah. Gonna put that on my life resume.
Thanks for sitting in. This
Hell
is
yeah.
fucking awesome.
This was awesome.
Yeah.
You're a great podcaster, great conversationalist, interviewer. You're great at splits. I wish I could do the splits, but I don't want to.
And, that's your right.
It is. Thank you.
All right, guys. Until next time, eat your vegetables.
Ugh.
No. All right, bye.
Bye. Oh, that's awesome.
I grab the mic and triple.
God.
My network damaged like I own this bitch. I'm far from rental. I'm spent like the coolest kid, like I do this shit, like I flew this ship. Feel free to slow me down. I'm from TX. So screw my shit. I'm about to teach this